Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex news update. And today we have the official promo spoiler for Boruto Chapter 11. This time it's coming to us directly from the Naruto official website. The 11th chapter of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex will be out on the 20th this month, so this is standard operating procedure to start hyping up the upcoming chapter by Shueisha. We may get a full set of leaks this weekend, but that comes down to if anyone in Japan has gotten their hands on the magazine earlier or not, since it should be arriving in stores now. So if you put a pistol to my head, I'd say check out for Monday for spoilers. Finally, get that popcorn ready for tomorrow because that 2.5-hour Boruto video is dropping in. If you're familiar with the way the Comics Explained and Stupendous Wave have done their really big 2 to 4 hour videos, then you'll know the approach to expect from this one, which covers enough stuff in an honest approach that's going to clear up a lot of misconceptions about the Boruto story, from scaling to characters and so much more. So I hope to see you guys on that video in the days afterwards, because I know a lot of you will probably be like me and watching in chunks by using the time skip. So over on the official Naruto website, it just poured gasoline into the fire with this newest reveal. We have Himawari versus Jura being shown off in the new chapter, and Ikimoto is leaning heavier into Himawari being a different breed of host for the Nine Tails itself, which we'll touch on in a moment later in this video. In the official teaser that we have, we see Himawari firing off a bijuu dama, and we see Jura flying backwards seemingly from a prior attack that was launched at him, and he's attempting to counter Himawari's bijuu dama with his own bijuu dama. This one once again being shot out via his Rinnegan eye. So we're seeing some consistency here. This is where it gets really interesting. So Himawari, when she's first transformed, we took note of the fact that her appearance did not look like the typical one you see when a Jinchuriki starts to use the cloak of their bijuu. They each have that orange bubble cloak chakra that, as a reminder, guys, I saw some of you guys confused why I said that Jinchuriki had that. Naruto and B both had that bubble cloak chakra. That was not something exclusive to Kurama's Jinchuriki. Yet Himawari, who is clearly using it, doesn't have that chakra cloak that you see, and it's something that I said last month that was clearly intentional, as was the way that her hair was drawn when her hair appeared to be shaped in the form of 9 separate tails. Well, lo and behold, that's exactly what we see here. Her hair has extended, it has gotten thicker, and there are 9 very long locks of hair that are banded together to resemble the tails of the 9 tails itself. Even crazier, the way that the tails are put together is very similar to what we saw when Naruto went into his version 2 state, where the tails all began to form before making the bijuu dama that he shot out at Orochimaru using that 4-tail state in that 4-Tails Naruto versus Orochimaru fight during the Tenchi Bridge arc. Once again, Himawari does not look like how she's supposed to look. There is no thick chakra skin that is covering her body that you see in that version 2 state, or the fox-like features that are in that weird in-between phase again in version 2 that we normally see. She doesn't have the magical golden mythological chakra cloak, and yet she is using this power, which I think does make sense when you look at it from this perspective, which is what we're seeing here is Himawari is that she is a different breed than all of Kurama's other hosts in the past, and not just because she doesn't have the chakra cloak, something that someone who is as or crazy as Ikimoto wouldn't hesitate to draw out of his love for Dragon Ball itself. Instead, this is another sign that Himawari and Jura aren't that different when you look at them. Jura is most likely your 10 tails personified, like myself and my homie King Bullet discussed in our video over on his channel that I recommend checking out. Jura, depending on the translation you use, and if you place the accent mark above the letter U, is roughly translated into 10 demon, which we know is a reference for the 10 tails itself. Jura is the humanoid embodiment of the 10 tails, and Himawari, though through different means, is a similar embodiment for Kurama, being the first person born with the seed of Kurama's chakra that Kurama then transmigrated to in order to be reincarnated. We're seeing something different than the standard Jinchuriki and bijuu relationship. Himawari and Kurama are one body and one soul now, and that's what is making this fight such uncharted territory. Even the way that Himawari's bijuu dama is being formed is being showcased differently. When a Jinchuriki is shooting off a bijuu dama, it's usually more similar to what you see Jura do, where the bijuu dama, it is gathering the pool of chakra condensed down before it's shot off. There are straight line patterns being shown. Himawari's chakra, on the other hand, is being used for bijuu dama that is swirling together in a vortex pattern, which is what makes this one so different. It's not what we've seen when Naruto foretells bijuu dama was being performed in volume 33 of Naruto, where the chakra again formed in that straight line as it was making the ball. Even when Naruto got his golden QB cloak when using KCM1, when you look at Naruto in volume 55, it's the same logic as prior. The chakra doesn't swirl in a vortex pattern when it's being formed. It just goes into a straight line and forms the ball as it's created. I think it does make you have to look at the title a bit differently now. Two Blue Vortex, and all the mention of vortexes that we had in the Minato one-shot and the Naruto Retsuden story, Naruto Retsuden, the 7th Hokage, and the Spiral of Destiny, which Spiral can be swapped out with Vortex, and that lines up with the numerous references to vortexes in that story as well, just like the Minato one-shot. The way in which her bijuu dama is gathering chakra is very intentional, and it's something to keep our eyes on moving forward as Himawari begins to start using more of Kurama's power. Now, for the Jura spot that we have in the chapter, we don't have the context as to what happened prior to this, only that Jura was seemingly sent flying backwards by a previous attack, and Himawari, she's on demon time right now because she isn't even giving this dude a chance to fully recover by planting his feet and rebalancing himself. Instead, she's shooting off a bijuu dama to keep the pressure on him, which that's very smart from a tactical perspective, and it makes you wonder, is Kurama coaching her through that, or is she fighting off of pure instinct while she's enraged? Either one of those works. We've seen Kurama give instructions and tips to Naruto when they were in full cooperation, just as Killer Bee and the Eight Tails were working in sync in a similar manner, so there is some precedent here for that. Now, the other thing that again works for this is that Himawari's fighting off of rage and pure instinct. Just look at her genetic makeup and you'll see why I say that works. She should have a high aptitude for fighting. Her father was the strongest shinobi in the history of the shinobi world at the time of his prime. Her mother is stated to have the strongest Byakugan in the history of the Hyuga clan and is considered to be the specialist of the Hyuga clan's main branch hidden jutsu, the Gentle Fist fighting style, which utilizes the Hyuga clan's Kekkei Genkai. Her grandfather was the 4th Hokage and one of the strongest shinobi in history, despite dying at the age of 24, well before he could reach his prime. Her grandmother was a skilled and unorthodox kunoichi who earned praise from Jiraiya and Tsunade and even Orochimaru to varying degrees. Anytime the legendary Sannin acknowledge you for your power and skill, you are clearly doing something right. If Himawari is going off of pure rage and instinct right now, pure unfiltered instinct, then it just continues with what we said in the past. She is being positioned to be the Son Gohan from Dragon Ball for this story. When she goes off into those fits of rage, there's a whole nother realm of power that she's able to unlock that she previously wasn't able to tap into before. And when she's locked in on that rage, she's a deadly force similar to a hurricane that is passing forward, which interestingly enough, a hurricane also moves in a vortex. The only thing that you can do is when you're trapped in it, just wait to see if you can ride out the storm, because it too will eventually pass and weaken. I don't think there's enough here for anyone to say that she's scaling to Jura or she's scaling above base Kawaki or version 1 Karma Seal Kawaki just yet. I think it might be likely right now because, as we've seen in the past with Sasuke and Naruto Volume 71, measuring someone's chakra levels is directly equated to power. They were directly able to scale Kaguya above Madara without even seeing Kaguya throw a punch. They just sensed his chakra. However, we need to see more information before we jump to that conclusion. So I want to throw that out there before people use this to start dragging Kawaki through the mud, which I am so tempted to do for the thumbnail, to be honest, and I probably would have done so if it weren't so late in the day and the channel artist is in bed and it's off for the weekend, because there's like a 13-14 hour gap between my time zone and his time zone, which shouts out to my guy Shy for all the amazing work he's done on the channel for the last 2 years for me. I appreciate it greatly. However, what we do know for certain is the one thing that I didn't think we'd see come back in the Naruto franchise, which is showcasing the utilization of destructive capability. This is a clash of two bijuu dama that are condensed down in size that are being shut off right now and look to be clashing on the next page. That would result in some pretty nasty damage, but I don't think we'll go too much into the route of what Naruto did, where we saw the entire battlefield landscape beginning to shift and change. I could see the area damage being contained like we saw in the last couple of manga arcs of Dragon Ball. So that would be the Cell Saga and the Buu Saga, where outside of Vegeta blowing himself up and Buu blowing up the entire planet, the damage for the most part, it was contained and restrained despite the enormous output of power by people who could destroy the planet multiple times over. Either way, I am good with this because this will be very fun to see what's getting cooked up here. This looks like it's going to be a fun fight. The official Naruto website is more likely than not going to be dropping another promotional spoiler on Sundays. So if the pattern continues from last month, then we'll get another official page release that gives us more context as to what's been going on here in this chapter. If we don't have the full spoilers on Sunday, then I'll cover the official leaks that come out. But again, because for whatever reason in 2024, there are still people who comment on videos saying, when does the Boruto chapter drop? It drops on the 20th each month, unless there's a major Japanese holiday or a short month, in which case the chapter will drop on the 18th. But that does not apply this month. It is the 20th. While you wait for the chapter though, click here for my new Kaiju number 8 video explaining numbers, weapons, users, or click here for this Naruto Explained video that YouTube personally selected for you. And don't forget to check back tomorrow for that 2.5 hour Boruto video.